I want you to look at your bank account right now. Picture the number in your head. Feel the emotion that comes with it. Is it anxiety? Is it frustration? Is it the quiet, gnawing desperation of not enough? Is it the anger of seeing others live a life you can only dream of while you feel like you're stuck in the mud, spinning your wheels? Now, I want you to understand a truth so fundamental, so powerful, that it will either set you free or condemn you to a life of struggle forever. That number in your bank account, it is not a reflection of the economy. It is not a reflection of your boss, your job, or your upbringing. It is not a reflection of your luck. That number is a mirror, and it is reflecting with perfect, brutal, mathematical accuracy the current state of your own mind. It is the symptom, not the disease. It is the scoreboard at the end of the game, not the player on the field. The real game, the one that determines everything, the one that dictates whether you win or lose before you even step onto the field, is the war being waged every single second between your ears. And in this war, there are only two sides, two opposing forces, two fundamental operating systems for a human life. On one side, you have the fragile mentality. It is the mindset of the victim, the mindset of the pawn, the mindset of scarcity. It is a way of thinking that is brittle, reactive, and pathologically terrified of pressure. It is a mindset that when faced with the inevitable storms of life, shatters into a million pieces of blame, excuses, and crippling self-pity. This mentality is the architect of empty bank accounts, unfulfilled potential, and quiet, desperate lives spent in the shadows of what could have been. And on the other side, you have the millionaire mentality. And I'm not just talking about having $1 million. That is a byproduct, a trailing indicator. I am talking about a mindset of sovereign power, a mindset of creation, a mindset of relentless ownership and radical abundance. It is a way of thinking that is not just resilient, but anti-fragile. It doesn't just survive pressure, it feeds on it. It gets stronger with every challenge, smarter with every setback, richer with every problem it solves. This mentality is the architect of empires, the creator of wealth, and the engine of a life lived on its own damn terms. These two mindsets are living in the same world, breathing the same air, facing the same economy, but they are living in completely different realities. Because your reality is not shaped by the world, it is shaped by the lens through which you view the world. Today, we put those two lenses under a microscope. We are going to conduct a deep, merciless, soul-bearing audit of your own internal operating system. This is not about judgment. This is about diagnosis. You cannot cure a disease until you have the courage to name it, to look at it, to understand its root cause. I am going to hold up a mirror to your soul, and for each aspect of your life, for each fundamental battlefield, you will see the two paths laid bare before you, the path of the fragile and the path of the powerful. Your job is not just to listen. Your job is to choose, to make a conscious, deliberate, and final decision about which path you will walk from this day forward. The choice begins now, and the first, most fundamental battlefield where this war is won or lost is in your perception of the world's most common, most unavoidable feature, the perception of problems. The fragile mentality sees a problem and immediately, instinctively sees a threat. A problem is a wall. It is a stop sign. It is a confirmation of the universe's cruelty. It is an excuse to complain, to retreat, to quit. When a problem arises, the first question the fragile mind asks is, why does this always happen to me? It is the question of a victim. It is a complete and total surrender of all power. The problem becomes a justification for their own inaction. The difficult client, the tough market, the unexpected bill, these are not seen as challenges to be overcome, but as personal attacks, as proof that the game is rigged against them. And so they remain stuck, trapped in a cycle of reacting to problems, being worn down by them, and ultimately being broken by them. They see a dragon, and their only instinct is to look for a place to hide. They spend their lives waiting for a life without problems, a fantasy that guarantees a life without progress. The millionaire mentality sees the exact same problem and sees something completely different. It sees an opportunity. It sees a puzzle. It sees a signal from the marketplace screaming about an unmet need. It understands a fundamental world-altering truth that is the very bedrock of all capitalism and all creation. All wealth, all value, all success is simply the result of solving problems. The bigger the problem you solve, the bigger your reward. It is the iron law of value. It is immutable and eternal. So when a problem arises, the first question the millionaire mind asks is not why me, but what is the opportunity here? What unmet need is this problem revealing? How can I solve this in a way that creates massive, undeniable value for others? Do you see the Grand Canyon that exists between these two questions? One is the question of a victim. The other is the question of a creator. One leads to paralysis and resentment. The other leads to innovation, service, and wealth. The fragile mentality is allergic to problems. It avoids them, denies them, and complains about them. The millionaire mentality is obsessed with them. It hunts for them. It actively seeks out the biggest, ugliest, most painful problems it can find because it knows that within those problems lies the greatest potential for growth, impact, and profit. The fragile mind wants a job with no problems. The millionaire mind wants to start a business that solves a massive problem. You are not paid for your time. Let that slave mentality die right now. You are paid for the size of the problems you solve. If you solve small, easy, common problems, you will get a small, easy, common paycheck. If you solve massive, complex, painful problems that few others are willing or able to touch, you will be rewarded with a massive, life-changing fortune. So I command you, change your relationship with problems. Starting today, you will no longer run from them. You will no longer complain about them. You will become a problem hunter, a problem solver, a connoisseur of chaos. When your clients complain about something, you don't get defensive. You listen with hungry, grateful ears. They are not attacking you. They are handing you a roadmap to your next $1 million product for free. When you see frustration and inefficiency in your own industry, you don't just accept it as the way things are. You see it as a gaping hole in the market that you are going to drive an armored truck through. You must retrain your brain to light up with a surge of predatory excitement, not a wave of dread when you encounter a problem. It is a signal, it is a signpost pointing you directly toward the gold. The fragile mentality sees a dragon and hides. The millionaire mentality sees a dragon and thinks, that beast is guarding a mountain of treasure. It's time to go to work. Your entire financial destiny, your entire potential as a creator on this planet is contained within that single profound shift in perception. But to hunt those dragons, to chase those opportunities that are disguised as problems, you must be willing to leave the safety of the castle walls. You must be willing to venture into the unknown. And this brings us to the next great battlefield where the fragile are slaughtered and the powerful are forged, your relationship with risk. The fragile mentality is pathologically, cripplingly terrified of risk. It worships at the altar of safety and security. Its entire life strategy is built around the avoidance of loss. Don't lose the job. Don't risk the savings. What if it doesn't work? It is playing a purely defensive game. It is playing not to lose. And because of this, it can never ever truly win. The fragile mind sees a 10% chance of failure as a flashing red nuclear warning sign to stop, to retreat, to go back to what is known. It focuses only on the potential downside, on the sting of the loss, and it is so blinded by this fear that it cannot see the monumental, life-altering opportunity on the other side. Its cage is built with the bars of caution, and it locks the door from the inside, believing it is safe, when in reality, it is entombed. The millionaire mentality has a completely different and far more powerful relationship with risk. It does not fear risk, it respects it. It does not avoid risk, it manages it. It understands that risk is the non-negotiable price of admission for a life of extraordinary rewards. It is not playing not to lose, it is playing to win. The millionaire mind is a master of calculated asymmetric risk. This is the secret. Asymmetric risk means that the potential upside of a decision is exponentially, massively greater than the potential downside. The fragile mind looks at a new business venture and thinks, I could lose my entire $10,000 investment. That is the end of the analysis. The thought is so terrifying, it shuts down all further processing. The millionaire mind looks at the exact same venture and thinks, my downside is capped at $10,000. That is the maximum I can lose. I can survive that, I will not die. But if this works, if my hypothesis is correct, the potential upside is $1 million, or 10 million, or more. The potential reward is 100 or 1,000 times the risk. This is not a gamble, this is an intelligent bet. This is a bet I have to take. Do you see the difference? It's not about being a reckless gambler, throwing money at every crazy idea. It's about being a strategic investor in your own future. You make a portfolio of intelligent, calculated bets, knowing, expecting that most will fail. The fragile mind needs every bet to be a winner, so it makes no bets. The millionaire mind knows that 9 out of 10 bets can fail, but the one that hits will pay for all the losses 100 times over. The fragile mentality is trying to get a hit every single time at bat, so it only ever bunts the ball, hoping to safely get to first base. The millionaire mentality is swinging for the fences, trying to hit grand slams, and it knows that means it's going to strike out a lot. And it is perfectly emotionally okay with that. The strikeouts are part of the price you pay for the home runs. You must change your game. You must be willing to strike out. You must be willing to lose small battles in order to win the war. You must understand deep in your bones that the biggest risk of all is taking no risk. The safe job is one layoff, one reorganization, one new boss away from disappearing. The safe money in your savings account is silently being eaten alive day after day by the cancer of inflation. Your strategy of safety is a guaranteed slow, comfortable path to mediocrity and quiet desperation. It is the most dangerous, most insidious strategy of all. So I challenge you, where are you being a coward in your life because of risk? What calculated bet are you refusing to make? You must become a student of risk. You must learn to analyze it, to mitigate it, and then when the odds are intelligently in your favor, to embrace it with courage and decisiveness. Your comfort zone is not a sanctuary. It is a cage. And the key to unlocking it is a willingness to dance with uncertainty. The fragile are prisoners of safety. The powerful are masters of risk. And this mastery of risk is directly tied to the next great chasm between these two mindsets. Their perception of the most valuable, non-renewable resource in the universe, their perception of time. The fragile mentality has been programmed with a slave's understanding of time. It sees time as something to be traded for money. The hourly wage, the annual salary. This is the central pillar of the fragile prison. You give me an hour of your life, the system says, one of the precious, irreplaceable, finite hours you have on this planet, and I will give you a handful of dollars. And the fragile mind accepts this trade without question its entire life. It sees time as something to be spent, or worse, to be killed. It lives for the weekend, for the vacation, for retirement, all moments when it can temporarily stop trading its life away. It is a tragic, desperate, and fundamentally powerless existence. The millionaire mentality sees time completely differently. Time is not something to be traded. Time is the most valuable asset in the universe, and it is to be invested. The millionaire mind is not thinking about their hourly wage. That is an irrelevant metric. They are obsessed with their freedom number, the point at which their assets generate enough income to buy back all of their time forever. The central obsession of the millionaire mind is leverage. How can I get more out of an hour than just 60 minutes of work? How can I make an hour of my effort today pay me again and again for years to come? This is the shift from linear income to leveraged income. The fragile mind works an hour, gets paid for an hour. The chain is broken. The millionaire mind builds a system for an hour, writes a piece of code, creates a piece of content, designs a business process, and that system pays them for the next 10 years, even while they sleep. The fragile mind mops the floor. The millionaire mind designs, builds, and sells a self-mopping robot. Both might work hard, but they are playing two completely different games on two completely different planes of existence. You must declare a holy war on trading your time for money. You must see it as the insidious trap that it is. Your goal is not to get a raise. A raise is just a slightly better paying cell in the same prison. Your goal is to build or buy assets. An asset is a soldier that works for you 24/7 without sleeping, without complaining, without asking for a raise. Every dollar you invest in a stock, a piece of real estate, or your own scalable business is a soldier you are sending out to fight the war for your freedom. The fragile mentality spends its money on liabilities that consume its time. The bigger house that needs more cleaning, the fancy car that needs more maintenance, the boat that needs to be taken care of. The millionaire mentality uses its money to buy back its time, hiring an assistant to handle emails, investing in software to automate tasks, buying assets that generate passive income to cover their living expenses. The fragile mind is buying more chains. The millionaire mind is buying more freedom. You must become a ruthless guardian of your time. You must conduct an audit. Where are you spending your precious finite hours? You must learn to distinguish between the tyranny of the urgent and the power of the important. The fragile mind is always busy, always putting out fires, always reacting to the urgent tasks that scream for its attention, the unimportant email, the pointless meeting, the minor request. They live in a state of perpetual busyness and wonder why they never make any real progress. The millionaire mind ruthlessly ignores the merely urgent in order to focus with monastic intensity on the truly important, the activities that, while often not urgent, are the ones that build the future. The deep work, the strategic thinking, the skill development. The fragile person is busy. The powerful person is productive. They are not the same thing. Being busy is about motion. Being productive is about results. The millionaire mind focuses only on the 20% of activities that will generate 80% of the results. It is ruthless about eliminating, automating, or delegating the rest. Stop seeing your life in terms of a 40-hour work week. That is their frame, not yours. You must create your own. You must see your life as a grand strategic game of acquiring assets that buy back your time. Time is the soil in which your empire will grow. You cannot build a forest if you are selling your land by the handful every single day. Own your time, invest your time, and you will eventually own your life. And what is the single greatest investment you can make with that precious guarded time? This brings us to the next great battlefield, the approach to knowledge and learning. The fragile mentality believes that learning is a finite event. It happens in a building called a school, and it ends on graduation day with a piece of paper. From that point on, learning is a chore. Reading is something you have to do for work. Studying is a distant, unpleasant memory. The fragile mind comes home from its job, exhausted from trading its time for money, and its primary goal is to numb itself. It seeks distraction. It consumes mindless entertainment. It wants to turn its brain off, and so its knowledge, its skills, and its value begin to atrophy year after year until it becomes a walking fossil in a rapidly changing world, wondering why it's being left behind. The millionaire mentality knows a secret that is so simple yet so profound, it is almost criminal that it isn't taught everywhere. Your level of income will rarely, if ever, exceed your level of personal development. What you learn determines what you earn. And so the millionaire mind is not just a lifelong learner, it is a relentless, obsessive, all-consuming learning machine. For the fragile mind, education is a cost. For the millionaire mind, education is the single greatest, highest leverage investment in the known universe. The powerful do not stop learning when they leave school. That is when the real education, the one that matters, begins. They are voracious readers. They are seminar junkies. They are audiobook addicts. They hire coaches and mentors. They join mastermind groups with people who are smarter and more successful than they are. They see their mind as their single greatest asset, and they are constantly sharpening it, upgrading it, and expanding its capacity with the same dedication an athlete shows to their body. Look at the budget of a fragile mind versus a millionaire mind. The fragile mind spends its disposable income on liabilities and distractions. The new phone, the expensive dinner, the endless streaming subscriptions. The millionaire mind dedicates a significant non-negotiable portion of its income to its own education. The $2,000 seminar, the $500 online course, the $20,000 coaching program. The fragile mind sees this as an outrageous expense. The millionaire mind sees it as a profound bargain because it knows that one idea, one strategy, one connection from that seminar could generate $1 million in return. You must become a creator, not just a consumer, and that applies to information as well. The fragile mind consumes entertainment to escape reality. The millionaire mind consumes information that can be applied to change reality. Their entertainment is their education. Turn your car into a university on wheels. Turn your gym time into a classroom. Every spare moment is an opportunity to learn. You are not just trying to get a degree. You are trying to build a mind that is capable of building an empire. And the learning is not just about skills. It is about mindset. It is about studying the biographies of great leaders. It is about understanding the timeless laws of psychology, persuasion, and human nature. You are not just learning how to do a job. You are learning how the world works. So I ask you, what did you learn today? What new skill did you acquire? What new idea challenged your old, comfortable way of thinking? If the answer is nothing, you did not just have a neutral day. You fell behind. You became a little more obsolete. In the game of life, you are either growing or you are dying. There is no middle ground. The fragile mentality is a fossil in the making. The millionaire mentality is in a constant, thrilling state of evolution. Choose to evolve. And as you learn, as you act, as you take risks, you will inevitably encounter the great teacher, the great forge of character, and your reaction to it will define you more than any other single factor. This is the battlefield of failure. The fragile mentality is shattered by failure. It is fundamentally brittle. When a fragile person fails, they take it as a final damning verdict on their self-worth. The failed business means I am a failure. The rejected proposal means I am not good enough. Failure becomes a deep, personal, infected wound, a source of immense, paralyzing shame. They do everything in their power to hide the failure, and they build a fortress of excuses and blame to protect their fragile, delicate ego. And because of this, they never learn the lesson. The failure becomes a ghost that haunts them, a heavy chain that prevents them from ever taking a significant risk again. Their growth stops dead in its tracks. The millionaire mentality is not just resilient to failure, it is anti-fragile. This is a critical distinction. Like a bone that heals stronger after a break, or a muscle that grows back thicker after being torn in the gym, the millionaire mind gets stronger from the shock and volatility of failure. It welcomes it. It seeks it out in controlled, calculated ways, because it understands the profound truth. Failure is not a verdict, it is data. Failure is the universe's most effective, albeit most painful teacher. It is the tuition you pay for a priceless, unforgettable lesson. The fragile mind sees the cost. The millionaire mind sees the investment. When the millionaire mind fails, it does not see a tragedy, it sees a seminar, a masterclass. It immediately performs the autopsy. What went wrong? What was my role in this? What is the lesson? What is the opportunity this has created? They are not emotional, they are strategic. They extract the wisdom from the wound with the precision of a surgeon. The fragile ego cannot do this. It is too busy defending itself, crying and pointing fingers. The millionaire mind has trained itself to kill the ego, to separate its identity from its outcomes, so it is free to learn the lesson and get back in the game, smarter and stronger than before. You must build an anti-fragile ego. You must fall in love with the process of learning, and you must understand that failure is the most accelerated, most potent form of learning there is. The person who has failed 10 times is infinitely more dangerous, more capable, and more valuable than the person who has never tried. They have 10 layers of scar tissue, 10 priceless lessons, 10 degrees from the University of Reality. So I command you, go fail. Go try something so ambitious that you might actually fail. And when you do, I don't want you to feel shame. I want you to feel a surge of pride, because you are in the arena. You are learning. You are growing. You are being forged. The fragile mentality is a museum piece, terrified of getting a scratch. The millionaire mentality is a battle-tested weapon, covered in the dents and scars that prove its immense strength. And this mindset, this entire operating system, naturally leads to a completely different philosophy about the tool that so many people worship and fear. This is the battlefield of money itself. To the fragile mentality, money is a source of constant anxiety and scarcity. It is something to be earned, hoarded, saved, and feared. It is a master. The fragile mind works for money. It lives in a state of enough. If I can just make enough to pay the bills, if I can just save enough for retirement. Money controls their decisions, their emotions, their entire life. They spend it on liabilities, things that take money out of their pocket to get a temporary hit of pleasure or to keep up with the neighbors. They are playing a losing game, and they don't even know it. They are also terrified of big numbers. The idea of managing $1 million is so intimidating, they subconsciously sabotage themselves to never have to deal with it. To the millionaire mentality, money is none of those things. Money is a tool. Money is a servant. Money is an employee, and it is the best employee in the world. It works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never gets sick. It never complains. It never takes a vacation, and its only job is to go out into the world and capture more employees. The millionaire mind does not work for money. It builds systems and acquires assets that make money work for IT. This is the great shift. You must stop seeing yourself as a laborer and start seeing yourself as a general. Every dollar you have is a soldier. You are the commander-in-chief of your own personal army, and you must give every single soldier a mission. When you spend $1, you are either sending that soldier to its death for a momentary pleasure, or you are sending it on a mission to conquer new territory and bring back prisoners. The fragile mentality focuses on saving. The millionaire mentality focuses on investing. Saving is a defensive move in a world of inflation. It is a guaranteed loss of purchasing power over time. Investing is an offensive move. It is the act of deploying your army to capture strategic territory. You must become obsessed with acquiring assets, not liabilities. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. It is that brutally simple. The fragile mind buys the fancy car, a liability on credit. The millionaire mind buys the duplex that generates rental income, an asset, and then lets the asset buy the fancy car with cash. This is not about being cheap. It is about being strategic. You must delay gratification. You must be willing to live below your means now, so you can live beyond your wildest dreams later. You must starve your desire for cheap, immediate pleasure in order to feed your hunger for true, lasting freedom. The fragile mentality is a consumer. The millionaire mentality is an owner. Stop just buying the products of your favorite companies, buy their stock. Stop just paying rent, figure out how to own the property. You must shift from being a piece on the board to being a player who is acquiring pieces of the board. Change your language. You don't have to pay your bills. You get to invest in your assets first and then manage your bills with what's left. Pay yourself first. Fund your army first. Your freedom is the highest priority, not your subscription services. The fragile mentality is a slave to money. The millionaire mentality is its absolute master. And this mastery, this entire way of being, is either accelerated or destroyed by the people you surround yourself with. This brings us to the next battlefield, the nature of your relationships and your network. The fragile mentality seeks comfort and commiseration in its relationships. It gravitates towards other fragile minds. Their conversations are a toxic cocktail of gossip, complaints, and blame. They talk about people. They talk about problems. They reinforce each other's victimhood. When they see someone successful, they are filled with envy, resentment, and suspicion. They must have cheated. They must have gotten lucky. It must be nice. They tear down success because it is a painful mirror that reflects their own inaction. A network of fragile minds is a bucket of crabs, each one pulling the others down so that no one can ever escape. The millionaire mentality seeks growth and inspiration from its network. It understands that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, so it is ruthless, strategic, and deliberate about curating its inner circle. The millionaire mind seeks out mentors, people who are already where they want to be. They are not afraid to ask for help. They are not afraid to pay for advice or access. They see a successful person not as a source of envy, but as a blueprint, as a shortcut, as proof that the goal is achievable. Their conversations are not about people, they are about ideas, they are about opportunities, they are about strategy, they are about growth. They are not complaining about the game, they are figuring out how to win it. They challenge each other, they hold each other to a higher standard. They celebrate each other's wins with genuine, unadulterated excitement because they operate from a place of abundance, knowing that a rising tide lifts all ships. And in this network, they are not just takers. The fragile mind is always asking, what can you do for me? The millionaire mind is a giver. It asks, what can I do for you? They focus on providing massive upfront value to their network, knowing that the law of reciprocity is as real as the law of gravity. They build relationships on a foundation of trust and mutual respect, not on a foundation of transactional neediness. You must conduct a brutal audit of your relationships. Who are you spending your precious time with? Who is in your text messages? Who are you on the phone with? Are they lifting you up or are they pulling you down? Are they pouring fuel on the fire of your ambition or are they pouring water on it? You have to be willing to outgrow people. This is a painful but absolutely necessary part of the journey. As you begin to adopt the millionaire mentality, you will no longer be able to tolerate the low-frequency energy of the fragile mind. Their complaints will sound like nails on a chalkboard. Their excuses will be a deep, personal insult to your new commitment to radical ownership. You must protect your energy as fiercely as you protect your time and your money. Your network is your personal board of directors. You have the power to hire and fire. It is time for you to fire the complainers, the cynics, and the victims. And it is time for you to go out and aggressively recruit the creators, the warriors, and the winners. The fragile mentality is trapped in a network of shared misery. The millionaire mentality builds a mastermind of shared ambition. As you build this new network, as you begin to operate at a higher level, you will face a new, more subtle temptation. You will be tempted to live for the approval and validation of these high achievers. And this is the next great battlefield, the source of your validation. The fragile mentality is powered by external validation. Its sense of self-worth is a fragile, hollow shell that is entirely dependent on the opinions of others. It craves likes, it thirsts for compliments, it needs the fancy title, the corner office, the approval of its peers and parents. It is a puppet, and its strings are pulled by both applause and criticism. A single compliment can make its day. A single insult can ruin its week. It is a slave to the perception of others. It makes decisions based not on an internal compass of its own values, but on what it thinks will make it look good to other people. It is a fundamentally weak and powerless position to be in. The millionaire mentality operates from a completely different source of power. It cultivates a core of internal validation. Its self-worth is not a negotiation with the outside world, it is a declaration from within. It is built on a foundation of its own standards, its adherence to its own code of conduct, its progress on its own mission. The millionaire mind is its own judge and its own jury. It decides its own worth. This does not mean it is deaf to feedback. It actively seeks feedback as data to improve its performance. But it never confuses feedback with a verdict on its own value as a human being. You must build this internal core. You must become your own source of validation. You must define your own metrics for success. Is success the amount of money you have, or is it the freedom you have? Is it the title on your business card, or is it the impact you are making? You must define the win, so you are not playing someone else's losing game. This means you must be willing to be misunderstood. As you start to make powerful, unconventional choices, the fragile minds around you will not understand. They will criticize you, they will judge you. If your validation is external, this will break you. You will scurry back to the safety of the herd. But if your validation is internal, their opinions will be like gnats buzzing around a lion. Irrelevant. You build this internal core through action, by keeping the promises you make to yourself. Every time you say you are going to wake up early and you do it, you cast a vote for your own reliability. Every time you say you are going to finish a project and you see it through, you build another layer of self-respect. Your opinion of yourself becomes more important than anyone else's. The fragile person is always asking, what do they think of me? The powerful person is asking, what do I think of me? Am I proud of my actions today? Did I live up to my own code? The first question leads to a life of a chameleon, always changing colors to please others. The second question leads to a life of integrity, of a monument carved from solid rock. And that monument, that entire empire of your ambition, is built upon one final physical foundation. This is the last battlefield, the one that most people ignore until it's too late, your approach to your own health and energy. The fragile mentality treats the body and mind as an afterthought. It is a vehicle for pleasure or a tool to be abused in the service of a job and then ignored. It runs on cheap fuel, junk food, poor sleep, chronic stress, and stimulants. It sees exercise as a chore and rest as a weakness. And then it wonders why it has no energy, why it can't focus, why it is always sick and tired. It is trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand, and it is destined to collapse. The millionaire mentality understands a secret that is so simple it is profound. Energy is the true currency of ambition. Not time, not money, energy. Without a high level of physical and mental energy, all the great strategies in the world are useless. Your body is not an accessory, it is your single most important asset. It is the high-performance machine that carries your mind and your ambition into battle every single day, and it must be treated as such. The millionaire mind is disciplined not just with its finances, but with its biology. It understands that sleep is not a luxury, it is a critical performance-enhancing tool. It ruthlessly protects its 7-8 hours of sleep because it knows that is when the body and brain repair, consolidate learning, and prepare for the next day's fight. It understands that food is not entertainment, it is fuel. You would not put cheap, dirty fuel in a Formula One race car. Why would you put it in your own body and expect high performance? The millionaire mind fuels itself with clean, powerful food that optimizes cognitive function and physical energy. It understands that exercise is not about looking good, it is about being formidable. It is a non-negotiable daily practice. It is a way to build resilience, to flush out stress hormones, to increase blood flow to the brain, and to forge the discipline that translates into every other area of life. The fragile mind lives in a state of chronic exhaustion and then wonders why it can't get ahead. The millionaire mind deliberately cultivates a state of high energy, which gives it the stamina to outwork, outthink, and outlast the competition. You must stop seeing your health as separate from your ambition. They are inextricably linked. Your financial health is a direct reflection of your physical and mental health. You cannot build an empire if you are too tired to get out of bed. You cannot make brilliant decisions if your brain is clouded with fog from a poor diet and lack of sleep. You must become the CEO of your own health. You must become a biohacker, an athlete of ambition. Your physical discipline is the ultimate expression of your commitment to winning. The fragile mind sacrifices its health for wealth. The millionaire mind knows that its health is its wealth, And so the two paths are laid bare, the 9 great battlefields. The path of the fragile mentality, seeing problems as threats, fearing risk, trading time for money, ending your education, being broken by failure, being controlled by money, networking with victims, seeking external validation, and neglecting your energy. And the path of the millionaire mentality, seeing problems as opportunities, managing calculated risk, investing time, being a relentless learner, being forged by failure, mastering money, masterminding with winners, cultivating internal validation, and optimizing your energy as your primary asset. These are not two different sets of tactics. They are two different worlds. They are two different religions of the mind, and you, whether you admit it or not, have been a devout follower of one of them. The proof is in your life. The proof is in your energy. The proof is in your bank account. But here is the gospel, the good news. Your mindset is not a permanent tattoo. It is a choice. It is a piece of software that can be uninstalled piece by painful piece, and a new one can be installed in its place. This is the choice you face right now. This is not about becoming a millionaire overnight. That is the lottery winner's fantasy, and it is a fragile dream. This is about deciding to perform a mental transplant right now in this moment. It is about deciding to start thinking like a millionaire long before the money ever shows up. The money is a lagging indicator. The money is the echo. The mindset is the cause. The mindset is the thunder. So you must make a decision, a real one, a declaration of war on every single fragile thought, belief, and habit in your own head. From this day forward, you will no longer see problems. You will only see opportunities. You will no longer fear risk. You will manage it. You will no longer spend your time. You will invest it. You will no longer be entertained. You will be educated. You will no longer be broken by failure. You will be built by it. You will no longer be a slave to money. You will be its master. You will no longer tolerate the company of victims. You will seek the counsel of warriors. You will no longer seek their applause. You will earn your own respect. And you will no longer run on fumes. You will become a high-performance machine. This is your new code, your new creed, your new operating system. I challenge you. Pick one of these battlefields. Just one, where you are weakest. And for the next 24 hours, live and breathe the millionaire mentality in that one area with the fanaticism of a true believer. If it's problems, spend the entire day hunting for them and brainstorming solutions. If it's learning, turn off all entertainment and consume only knowledge that makes you more valuable. Win one battle, and then tomorrow win another. This is how the transformation happens, not in a single flash of insight, but in 1,000 small daily choices. In 1,000 moments where you choose the path of power over the path of fragility. The world already has enough fragile minds. It has enough victims. It has enough people waiting to be told what to do. What it needs is you, forged, focused, powerful. It needs you to adopt the mindset of a creator, of a problem solver, of a king or a queen of your own reality. Your old mind built your old life. If you want a new life, you need a new mind. The transplant begins now.